The wit of conversation consists more in finding it in others than showing a great deal yourself. He who goes out of your company pleased with his own facetiousness and ingenuity will the sooner come into it again. Be not sick too late, nor well too soon. If you are active and prosperous, or young, or in good health, it may be easier for you to augment your means than to diminish your wants, but if you are wise, you will do both at the same time. You are old, rich or poor, sick or well, and if you are wise, will do both in such a way as to augment the general happiness of society. Fear to do ill, and you need fear not else. Some, to make themselves considerable, pursue learning, others grasp at wealth, some aim at being without witty, and others are only careful to make the most of a handsome person. What is wit or wealth or form or learning when compared with virtue? It is true we love the handsome, we applaud the learned, or the rich and powerful, but what we even worship and adore the virtuous. A learned blockhead is a greater blockhead than an ignorant one. It is a common error in friends when they would extol their friends to make comparisons and to depreciate the merits of others. Each year one vicious habit rooted out in time might make the worst man good throughout. A new truth is a truth, an old error as an error. Having lived long, I have experienced many instances of being obliged by better information or fuller consideration to change opinions even on important subjects which I once thought right but found to be otherwise. The way to secure peace is to be prepared for they that are on their guard, and appear ready to receive their adversaries are in much less danger of being attacked than the supine, secure, and negligent. But don't go to the doctor with every distemper, nor to the lawyer with every quarrel, nor to the pot for every thirst. I never saw an oft-removed tree, nor yet an oft-removed family, that threw so well as those that settled be. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The worship of God is a duty. The hearing and reading of sermons may be useful, but if men rest in hearing and praying is too many, it is as if a tree showed value itself in being watered and putting forth leaves, though it never produced any fruit. A great talker may be no fool, but he is one that relies on him. When there is so much to be done for yourself, your family, in your country, be up by peep of day, let not the sun look down and say, inglorious here he lies. To expect people to be good, to be just, to be temperate, without showing them how they should become so seems like the ineffectual charity mentioned by the apostle, which consisted in saying to the hungry, the cold, and the naked, be ye fed, be ye warm, be ye clothed, without showing them how they should get food, fire, or clothing. He's the best physician that knows the worthlessness of the most medicines. Would you live with ease, do what you ought, and not what you please? Man and woman have each of them qualities and tempers in which the other is deficient, in which in union contribute to the common felicity. Good heals and the doctor takes the fees. He that is known to pay punctually and exactly to the time he promises, may at any time, and on any occasion, raise all the money his friends can spare. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Life, like a dramatic piece, should not only be conducted with regularity, but it should finish handsomely. Men are subject to various inconveniences merely through lack of a small share of courage, which is a quality very necessary in the common occurrences of life, as well as in a battle. How many impertinences do we daily suffer with great uneasiness, because we have not courage enough to discover as like. The art of getting riches consists very much in thrift. All men are not equally qualified for getting money, but it is in the power of every one alike to practice this virtue. Having been poor is no shame, being ashamed of it is. If a man empties his purse into his head, no man can take it away from him. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. If a sound body and a sound mind, which is as much as to say health and virtue, are to be preferred before all other considerations, ought not men, in choosing a business either for themselves or children, to refuse such as are unwholesome for the body, and such as make a man too dependent, too much obliged to please others, and too much subjected to their humors in order to be recommended and get a livelihood? Our opinions are not in our power. They are formed and governed much by circumstances that are often as inexplicable as they are irresistible. Tricks and treachery are the practice of fools that don't have brains enough to be honest. After all, wedlock is the natural state of men. A bachelor is not a complete human being. He is like the odd half of a pair of scissors, which has not yet found its fellow, and therefore is not even a If so useful as they might be together, I would advise you to read with a pen in hand and enter in a little book short hints of what you find that is curious or that may be useful, for this will be the best method of imprinting such particulars in your memory. By the collision of different sentiments, sparks of truth are struck out, and political ideas obtain. The different factions, which at present divide us, and all at the public good, the differences are only about the various motives of promoting it. Reading makes a full man, meditation a profound man, discourse a clear man. There are in life real evils enough, and it is folly to afflict ourselves with imaginary ones. It is time enough when the real ones arrive. Work as if you were to live 100 years. Pray as if you were to die tomorrow. Hope and faith may be more firmly built upon charity than charity upon faith and hope. If a man empties his purse into his head, no man can take it away from him. An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. I look upon death to be as necessary to our constitution as sleep. We shall rise refreshed in the morning. We need a revolution every 200 years, because all governments become stale and corrupt after 200 years. The best thing to give to your enemy is forgiveness, to an opponent tolerance, to a friend your hurt, to your child a good example, to a father deference, to your mother conduct that will make her proud of you, to yourself respect, to all others charity. Security without liberty is called prison. The best of all medicines are rest and fasting. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. It seems to me, if statesmen had a little more arithmetic, or were accustomed to calculation, wars would be much less frequent. The most trifling actions of a man, in my opinion, as well as the smallest features and lineaments of the face, give a nice observer some notion of his mind. He who sacrifices freedom for security deserves neither. I never knew a man who was good at making excuses, who was good at anything else. Common sense is something that everyone needs, few have and none think they lack. Most men die from the neck up at age 25 because they stop dreaming. The ancients tell us what is best, but we must learn of the moderns what is fittest. I don't believe in stereotypes. I prefer to hack people on a more personal basis. To lengthen their life, lessen their meals. Do not anticipate trouble or worry about what may never happen. Keep in the sunlight. Content makes poor men rich. Discontentment makes rich men poor. Employ your time well, if you mean to get leisure. Well done is better than well said. Energy and persistence conquer all things. If you would persuade, you must appeal to interest rather than intellect. Thank you for watching.